You are listening to Iron Suits, where strength wears a crown. This show isn't for the soft, it's for the forged men who command boardrooms and war rooms alike and carve out the six-pack that proves it. If that's you, welcome to the table. Guys, welcome back. I'm your host, Marwan Killu. Today's episode, six-pack secrets for men who work 60 plus hours a week. Okay, so most men think that to get a six-pack, it means that living in the gym, doing hours of cardio, cutting out carbs, missing family, client dinners, missing out on family time. And let's get real here. If you're working 60 plus hours a week, running your business, you don't have time for that nonsense. You don't have time for that shit, right? So here's the truth. Most guys approach fat loss in a way that is built for influencers with no responsibilities. It's built for kids, 20-year-old Instagrammers, not business leaders with companies, teams, and families depending on them. So today I'm going to break down the real secrets of getting a six-pack when you've got a full calendar, high pressure role, and zero time to waste. Because here's the thing, it's not about doing more, it's about doing things differently, efficiently. By the end of the episode, you're going to know exactly how to carve out a lean, powerful body without sacrificing your business, family, or sanity. So, I want to give you guys a personal story, and I'm sure I've told that in previous episodes. I've made the same mistakes as you have. I've always thought that to get a six-pack, and then I need to do long hours of cardio. I need to 2-a-day workouts. I need to do fasting. I need to do all these things because I thought more effort equals better output, and nothing could be further from the truth. I ate chicken and broccoli out of Tupperwares, and that was gross, right? I didn't like chicken is great and now and again, right? Okay, but like to eat it 3-4 times, even 6 times a day, it's just gross. So that's all I ever ate, and needless to say that I did a lot of the right things, and I was spinning my wheels, my wheels, so to speak, right? So let me give you guys some secrets. So secret number 1 is you got to train like a CEO, not a college athlete. So men in their 40s and 50s who work long hours, business leaders like you, still try and train like they were training in their 20s, endless lifting sessions, boot camps, or CrossFit style beatdowns. The problem with these is that they destroy your nervous system. They spike cortisol, your stress hormone, and when you're already burning candles at both ends, it backfires. So I spoke before about a bucket of water analogy, right? Where you have a bucket of water, a bucket, and you fill it up with stress. That bucket instead of water is your stress. Everything that you do is a stressor. Okay, so business, family, phone calls, meetings, dogs, traffic, etc., etc. Okay, training, lack of sleep, pressure. All these are stresses. Okay, when we get in the 40s and beyond, we don't recover as well as the guys in their 20s. I mentioned this before in the previous episode I spoke about. I used to train at the gym where it used to be next where they had JP Morgan next to it and a bunch of other offices. And I see these kids coming into the gym at lunchtime. I kid you not, these guys that look about in their 20s, they come in, they go to the platform where they have the barbells and they do their deadlifts, right? So they do one set of a warm-up, and then they go straight into their main training set. 160, some kids were doing 160, 170, was it 25, 50, 75? Yeah, 325 kg discs on each end after one set of warm-up. Now, me, I find when I go into the gym, I need at least a 10-minute mobility session to get my nervous system going. And these guys will come in the next day, like my 18-year-old son goes to bed sometimes at 4 o'clock in the morning, wakes up at 7, and he goes into the gym. No problem. We play by different rules, right? They can recover a lot quicker, so the stress comes down a lot lower. So instead of training like a college guy, then what you need is metabolic intensity training. You need short strategic workouts that are designed to maximize your fat loss, even build muscle, protect muscle, and keep your testosterone high. So you need 3 to 4 sessions, 45 minutes to an hour, and that's it. Doing Instagram style workouts just don't work. You might see your favorite Instagram 20-year-old guy doing these workouts, but you don't have the capacity to train like them. They don't have any responsibilities. They're living probably on their own, a sheltered life, right? And they don't have to do anything. They don't have any responsibilities at all. Some of them might even be living with their parents in their parents' basements. So like my 18-year-old son Antonio. My wife Hiba makes all his food for him. So all he's got to do, take the bus to the summer holidays, especially take the bus to the gym and get picked up, come back, spend most of the time in his room. No problem, right? We can all do that. We'll all get very muscular and lose fat easier by being in that. The trouble with fat loss and muscle building is about hormones more than anything. So that's why doing more doesn't really work. So I want you guys to think of it this way. You don't attend every single meeting in your business, right? You attend the meetings that move the needle. So training works the same way. Less is more, but you make it count. Secret number 2 is elite fueling will beat rigid dieting. If you're working 50, 60 plus hours a week, like sticking to a chicken or broccoli rice diet are zero. Like it tastes foul, man. Right? Seriously. And you don't need to do that shit. And that's why 90% of business owners fail, because they try and be very rigid. Their diet is very bland. They isolate themselves from the rest of the kind of like family, and like missing family time, and it just doesn't work, because if the process, like the only people that can stick together are the people that do this for a living, right? In terms of like competing, right? If you genuinely have something on the line to compete and it's your job to do this day in, day out, then I think you can tolerate it. But I really can't see anybody else, doing that kind of thing, and that's why there aren't very many. So inside, basically, I teach my clients elite fueling, like a system of flexible eating that adapts to boardroom lunches, client dinners, and dinners. So really it's 3 rules, and protein is non-negotiable. Keep your fats low early in the day, or lower, okay, so that you can enjoy dinners without guilt. So I shared a story again. I was in Marbella for a couple of weeks, and we went out 4 times a week for 2 weeks straight. And we went out 8 times, and I didn't track every single dinner. I tracked the lunch. I tracked my my breakfast, and basically kept protein low. And we run out some lunches as well, so I'll share with you guys how to do this as well. So I'll keep my fats low early in the day. Okay, so I'll have, say, maybe egg whites and one egg maybe, and I'll have fat-free yogurt, and that way I'm eating predominantly protein, which is going to keep me full, and I'm having a little bit of fat from the egg, and might add a little of like a teaspoon or tablespoon of Greek full-fat yogurt, just to give it a bit of taste. Lunch, again, I'll keep it lower on the fat side as well. I have some carbs and protein, especially if I'm wiped out, I have a bit more carbs. And then at dinner, I can enjoy myself. Like I went to Marbella on a fat loss phase. I'm on 2,300 calories at the moment, down from my peak of 3,700 when I was in full bulk. So I still managed to lose fat. I think I lost, I'm not sure how much I lost. Like, it didn't really reflect on the scale. I was still doing everything and eating like within my maintenance, within my calorie budget. Not maintenance, but it didn't really reflect, the scale reflect that much. The pictures, however, looked very different. Like, I looked a lot better in the pictures. And I was taking pictures on Fridays. Like, I'll look at myself in the mirror, and then I'll take pictures on Fridays, like with the iPhone. And I looked a lot better in the pictures than I did on the scale. So I don't know. Sometimes it's sort of like the scales don't budge. Maybe because of the heat or something. I don't know. I'm still drinking like 6 liters of water. Anyway, so in terms of lunch, I'll very quickly touch on lunch. If I was going out for lunch, then again, what I would do is keep protein very high. I would estimate how much I'm eating for lunch. Right? So for example, let me give you a really easy example. We went out to Indians, we had burgers. We didn't actually have pizzas, unfortunately. But you know, Marbella's got plenty of places where you have a lot of really nice food without having to go and resort to eating sort of junk, so to speak. Okay. So let's say that the burger was. We had ice cream as well. Sometimes we'd walk on the beach at night and we'd just have an ice cream. I was with my wife, Hiba, and my 2 boys, and we felt like ice cream, so I was like, okay, we'll have an ice cream. Say that I ate, how many? I ate 1,300 calories in the daytime, lunch and breakfast, and I had like 1,000 calories. I don't know how many calories a burger is. It could be 1,000, it could be 700, it could be 500. I don't know. Ice cream maybe 100, 200 calories. I don't know, right? But the point is that you keep fats low during the day. So you're also burning more calories in the daytime because protein is very thermogenic. Like 30% of the calories will get lost in digestion from protein. So then you can have fun later on. So even if I had like 1,000 to play with and the burger was 700, I'm still 300 under. Which is cool, right? Like, I don't know how many the Indian was. It could be in thousands, could be more, but it's not about perfection, really. It's about control. What happens if you go out to if you're not staying in a place where you can track calories? Well, again, you just estimate to the best of your ability. Okay, so you kind of you learn how to estimate portions. And then you track them as well. Like, okay, it's not perfect, but again, we're not looking at perfection, we're looking at control. Cope with what you can. I said cope? No. Control what you can and cope with what you can't. Okay? So it's not about saying no to life, and it's about, rule number 3 was learning to estimate portions. Okay, you can always bring it back the next day or during the week. Okay, and it's very easy to do, right? If you feel like you've gone over your calories one day, then you just go a little bit under the next day, or during the week you bring it under. Okay, you bring it back during the week. So unless you're going like 2,000 calories over in one day, then that's like crazy. So it's not about saying no to life, it's about knowing how to play the game so you win no matter what, whether it's restaurant, the country, or the situation. And the crazy thing is that most of my clients actually lose fat when they start eating out. And this because they start eating out strategically rather than avoiding it. Right? So I was the guy who used to avoid going out for dinner because I wanted to eat chicken and broccoli. And I can tell you this, that the number of times that I got invited out, I could count on on one hand, not a lot. Okay, so let's move on to secret number 3, point number 3, which is the power of synergy. Here's where 99% of business owners miss the mark, right? They see nutrition, recovery, and training as separate silos, okay? But your body doesn't work that way. It works as a system. Everything works as a system. Okay, it's not one thing is working, one thing is not working. No, everything is like working together. It's like your muscles, right? Oh yeah, well I'm doing bicep curls, that means I'm only doing one biceps. Well, no, because like everything else is having to work to stabilize you, and like everything else, your brain is still working, sending a signal to like contract this muscle. So when your training is aligned with your diet, when your sleep supports your recovery, when your fueling strategy reduces stress instead of adding to it, everything compounds. Like you go out to a restaurant and then you can't eat your favorite food, or you can't eat with your friends. Like that's a stress in itself to you and to everybody else. So it's like your business, like marketing, sales, and operations can't run alone. They can't run in isolation. They have to be integrated to scale. And same thing with your body. If you have all 3 in synergy, the fat will melt off faster than you thought it's ever possible. Even if you're working 60 hours a week, right? So we want to wrap it up over here. I don't know how long we've been going for, but we'll wrap it up here. If you're a high-performing business owner, then here's really what you need to remember. You need to stop training like a college athlete. Train like a CEO. Stop dieting like a bodybuilder, and fuel like a business leader that you are. And stop treating your health like a separate piece. Get them working together in synergy. The result is you're going to get a six-pack that doesn't just look good, but one that makes you look stronger, sharper, and more resilient in every area of life. Because the truth is, you don't need more time, you need the right systems. Okay? That's all I've got for you now, guys. If this episode hit you, then share it with another man who's too comfortable, because iron sharpens iron and man sharpens man. Or, as I say, steel sharpens steel. So, I want you guys to subscribe, not for me, but because deep down you need the fire in every episode. Until next time, until next time, see you later.